Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Susie Q's 3 on Thursday. Today is September 1st. I cannot believe that August is already gone. School is starting, vacations are over, so it's back to the old normal grind of doing all those things. So, I'd like to talk to you today about a couple of things. Today, since it is September 1st, Stampin' Up! Has got a special promotion going on for the entire month of September. And that is offering some die cuts that will go with some of the stamp sets that are currently in our catalog. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of which stamp sets those are, and if you have your catalog handy, you can follow along. On page 43, the Trimming the Tree set of stamps, there is a die set now, and you can get both the die set and the stamps for $46.75. Then on page 55, this Birthday Piggy stamp set, they also have dies that will go with those piggies, and that is $48.50. Then on page 65, Fresh Cut Flowers. That's a really pretty stamp set, and now it's going to have dies to match it so that you can cut out those flowers. So that is $50.25. I bought the stamp set with the dies for the Waterfall Canyon on page 94. I haven't had a time to play with it yet, but I'm going to. And then maybe we'll do that next week for 3 on Thursday. So those are what's in the annual catalog. And then in the mini catalog, you have the Yeti to Party on page 38. So they're going to have dies to cut out the Yeti stamp set. And then also, which is a very nice stamp set on page 54, it's a fall set. It's Apple Harvest. So that is going to also have dies, and that will be a bundle price of $53. There will be special code numbers to punch in. So if you're wanting any of those special ones, let me know, and I can get you the code, the item number that you'll need to press in for that so that you get it. The other exciting news, and I am so excited about this, is once a year Stampin' Up! Has what they call On Stage, and it's a convention for demonstrators. And we gather together, and the last 2 years have been virtual because of COVID. So I attended last year, which was my first year, but I attended it virtually. Well, this year it's being held over several different cities in the United States, and so I am going to Arlington, Texas, and I am really excited about that. I'm going to take my daughter, my assistant, and my granddaughter, Audrey, because they've never been to Texas, and while I'm at the convention, they can go out sightseeing, and there's an art museum that they want to go to. So that's really exciting for me. So that will be in November. November 9th, which is a Thursday, we will be leaving. And so that Thursday's 3 on Thursday will be pre-recorded, and then I'll send you updates while I'm there at the convention. I'm going to get together with some other demonstrators on Friday and do a shoebox swap, which I'm excited about. And then Saturday all day is the convention. What's really cool about that is I get swag, which is some really cool product. I get to see brand new product that will be coming out in the January to June mini catalog. But I also get to pre-order that product. So those are just kind of the benefits that you get when you're a demonstrator and you go to On Stage. So that's really exciting. But before I do that, in October, I'm going to a little town in Kansas, and I'm going to be demonstrating how to make a project at the KCMO something. I can't remember all of the acronym of it, but it's a bunch of demonstrators that have uplines that do this quarterly meeting that other people are invited to. So that gives me some people that I can interact with as demonstrators. So that's really exciting that I'm going to get to demonstrate in front of a whole bunch of people that I've only met like once. So anyway, let's see. what else has been going on in my life? Not a whole lot. My grandson Noah called me last night and wanted to know how I make potatoes, and he had to tell me about a story that he went to a butcher shop. This is probably the first butcher shop he's actually been to, other than, the meat market at Hy-Vee or whatever. He walked out of there with 6 steaks and $110 pour. I said, well, the first thing you need to do is ask how much they are per pound and not just pick out a bunch of steaks and figure they're going to be $50. But anyway, lesson learned, I think. But he wanted to know how to make my potatoes that he just loves. That it's just like a very simple recipe. But every time he wants to make them, he has to call Nana to find out how to make these potatoes. So anyway, I got to talk to him for a little while, so that was kind of exciting. Okay, let's get to it. I'm going to close my camera and flip it upside down, and I don't want anybody to see my ceiling and all, so I'm going to make it black, and then I'll be right back. What? Is it the right direction now? Okay. Everything's good, straight.
Bring it this way more.
Bring it this way.
Bring it.
Okay. It always takes a little while for me to get the camera readjusted. I tried to get on to my streaming to be on YouTube at the same time. It wasn't letting me today for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, today we're going to make a couple of fun fold cards that are simple and that you can put together really easy. And I am using this paper right here. I'm going to turn the catalog sideways so that you can see it a little bit better. But it is a host reward, and it is called Design a Daydream. And you get 48 12 by 12 sheets, 4 of each of the 12 designs. It is really pretty. So we're going to use 2 different papers from this pack, because that's a really great deal that you can get it for $18 and you get 48 sheets. So that's a lot of paper. Okay. All right. I want to announce our winner from last week's cards. Last week was like a disaster, wasn't it? Anybody that watched it last week, I just felt like I was all over the place. I didn't have my assistant. I had to pre-record it. So this was the hello card that we made with the mountain set. And then this was the little Christmas treat holder for Hershey's Kiss. So there's the little Hershey's Kiss stuck in there. And that was made with the Christmas banners and then the Christmas to Remember stamp set, I believe. I'm trying to see it up on my shelf. And then this was the one that we made using the Days to Remember, where it's the calendar. So this one is for September. So hopefully whoever wins today has a birthday in September. And then you just circle your date. Okay? And those cards are going to Karen Bond. So congratulations, Karen. You are the winner for this week's cards. And I will have those to you at the card club. So if you're not a part of my card club, let me explain what it is we meet once a month, usually on the 3rd Friday of every month. In Osage Beach, we meet at the Hy-Vee restaurant, or Hy-Vee grocery store restaurant. It has got a restaurant in it, upstairs in their meeting room. So I've got permission from the manager there. And so that goes from about 1 to 3, depending on how fast everybody gets their cards done. And then I go to Jeff City. So if you're in the Jeff City, Brazito area, I have one up there at a retirement area, one of their clubhouses, and that starts at 6 o'clock. So if you're interested in either one of those, just shoot me an email, and that will be awesome. Let's see. There was something else that popped into my head. Oh, for the club, there is a minimum of $20 in a purchase every month, and then you become the hostess once every year, unless we don't have enough people to fill out 12 months, and then we draw names to who's going to pick up and be, excuse me, an extra hostess for another month. Okay, so I see Teresa Jackson is on today. And I see Cherie is on today and Karen is on today. So welcome, welcome. I know that Cindy McGee is on vacation. She went to South Carolina, I believe, to see her sister. She hasn't seen her for a while, so she has gone out there. So that's exciting for her. All right, so the first card that we're going to make today is this as a Christmas card. And I am using the paper from, it's the Christmas paper, and it was in last year, and I can't think of the name of it right now. And then I'm using some of the soft succulent satin ribbon that's in the catalog. And then I've embossed in the bronze.
Painted Christmas.
Pardon?
Painted Christmas.
Painted Christmas paper. Okay, so that's the card. That's our Christmas card for today. Remember, I'm making a Christmas card every week until Christmas, so that by the end of that time, if you redo these designs, then you will have several Christmas cards already completed. That's my hope anyway, that I have plenty of Christmas cards completed. All right, so we're using a basic card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and you want to make sure that you use your foam folder and really burnish it down good. Okay. Then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. My ribbon is perfect. My bow is perfect. Well, let me tell you how I make my bows. Some bows I can tie, but some bows I can't. So I use a bow maker, and you can get them off Amazon, and they're not that expensive, but they are definitely something that if you're not good at making bows, invest in a bow maker, because they're very easy, and you can make any size bow that you want. Okay, we are using several stamp sets for this. I am using Hope and Peace, and then I'm also using the Christmas season stamp set to get my inside. There we go. I knew I had an inside to this. So I'm putting the little holly berries on the inside. So let's do our stamping first so that we've got that out of the way. And I am using Real Red and Evening Evergreen for our berries on the inside, and I've buried my, there it is, my piercing mat so that I can stamp with my photopolymer stamps. So on the inside, we are going to stamp our greeting. May knowing Christ bring you peace for today, hope for tomorrow, and joy in every season. We're just going to stamp this here, up here in the center, and I hope it comes out. Yes, very good. Okay, now down in the corner, we're going to stamp with our Evening Evergreen and stamp our little stems. That's just going to go down here in the corner, and then we're going to use the little berry stamps. That was good. Almost got ink all over. Well, I did get ink all over my finger. Let me get some paper towel here, ladies. I have got to go to the store and get me some baby wipes so that I can wipe off my messy, sticky hands. Or inky hands, not sticky. All right, my Real Red, here it is. And then I just put my hand right in that stamp. Okay, and this stamp goes on here. You will notice, you'll be able to figure it out, that it kind of stamps. I want to make sure. Yep, that I had it go in the right direction. The one little berry goes towards the right and the bottom. So there is our berries. I had it here. Get out my well-used chamois. I love my chamois. As you can tell, it's well loved. Whoops. I need to take and wash off. How many of you have photopolymer stamps that don't like to cling anymore to your blocks? Do you have that problem? Hello, Pat. I'm glad you got on today. Anyway, if you have problems with your photopolymer stamps sticking to your blocks, excuse me, one way to fix that is just take your blocks to your kitchen sink, and I use an old toothbrush, and I put one tiny little drop of Dawn dish soap, the Dawn blue dish soap, and I kind of scrub off my photopolymer stamps. And I do that every time that they seem not to stick anymore, because I also do that to the back of them so that they cling better. Okay, so this is going to get laid down inside. And then comes the fun fold part of this card. Okay. Alright, so I have cut a piece of paper that is 11.5 by 4. So out of one 12 by 12 piece of paper, you can get 3 of these folds out of it. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. And the reason I like my scoreboard is it does come, I think it only comes with like 3 of these little markers. And at the time that I got mine, I could buy extra markers. I don't think they sell them anymore, but it helps me to keep my place. I got to bring it down here. Okay, so it helps me to keep my place with these markers if I was going to be doing these in mass production. Okay. And I do have to, I'm going to have to turn it this way so that y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so for this particular one, you want to start with the design that you want facing up, being up. Okay, so we're going to score it at 3 inches. And because Designer Series paper is lighter weight than your cardstock, use the big ball end. Looks like I'm buffering, at least on my phone. Hopefully I don't lose everybody. So we're going to score it at 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, 9 inches, and 10 inches. Okay, so that's our scores. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to take our trimmer and we are going to mark at one end. All of a sudden I have got the yawnies and I don't know why. I guess maybe I'm just not getting enough oxygen. I don't know. Let me get a drink here. Alright, you want to mark on the 10-inch side where you scored it at the 10 inches. You want to mark it at 1 inch from the bottom. So I'm laying my paper in my trimmer and I can see, and I put it over here at the 1 inch line. Okay, so you all can see that. And that's one thing that I really like about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer is that you do have 1 inch on the right hand side. It does go to 1.5 inches, and then it goes all the way out with its arm at 17 inches. So I'm going to mark with a little pencil. I'm going to put my guide down because then I know right here is where my 1 inch mark is. And you probably won't be able to see that, but maybe you can. There's my little tick mark. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from my 3 inch side and I'm going to line it up with that tick mark. I gotta find my tick mark again. I lost it. Where did it go? I lost my tick mark. I put it there. Let's do that again. Let me see. Oh, there it is. I was looking way over too much for it. Okay. So I'm going to take and line up my 3-inch side in that cutting groove with my little 1-inch tick mark up here. Okay. So what I'm seeing on my screen is I'm like way behind myself in what I'm showing. Then I'm going to close my trimmer, move my score one out of the way, making sure that my paper is still in the track, and I am going to cut up and cut off this tiny piece. Okay? So to me that's scrap. You don't need to keep it. So then what you end up with is a piece that has a nice angle cut on it. And I'm going to just trim this up a little bit because it just needs it just a tad. There we go. And we're done with our trimmer. I have a little hook under my desk that it hooks to. Okay, so then we're going to start with our mountain fold. We're going to fold that. Nope, sorry, valley fold. I always get myself confused when I start doing one. Valley fold. Then our next score line is going to be, I just have to feel them. I'm going to feel them and fold them and then crease them down the way they need to go so that I know I have them all. Okay, so now that I have them, so there is the mountain. Oh, it is the valley. No. There we go. So we go valley, mountain, valley, mountain. There's that score line. Valley and mountain. So when you get done with it, it folds up like this. So this is like the curtain or the drapery fold that they call it. Okay. What I noticed on my original one, and it all depends. See, it's a little bit longer than what I want for my card because I want it to sit. I want it to have that, oh yes, I'll tell you, that little bit of border around it. So what I did was I just trimmed off a tad bit off of the side because this is measuring out at, this measures out at 5.5, and I wanted it at 5 1/4. I'm not sure why. I know I did it on my 1-inch, but we're going to try something here because I think we're going to take this, we're going to put it on here. No, we're not, because if I do that, I'm going to mess it up. I know I will. I know I will. What I am going to do is I am going to trim off a little bit, because if you notice on my original one, I have shorter, and that's what I'm confused about, and I did it exactly the way I did it on my other one. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. We're going to bring that to the 1-inch line again. And I'm just going to cut off another bit. What's it going to hurt, right? Because if it doesn't work out, ladies, you get my original. Because I don't want my end to be that long. There we go. See there, and now you get to see a little bit more of the paper. Alright, but I still need to figure out why it's longer, so I don't want it long. So I'm going to take and cut off 1/4 of an inch off of my 3-inch side. Do I have you all confused yet? Because I'm certainly confused. No, it's not really that bad. I just did some surgery on it, that's all. So that it wasn't so long. Because I had to make sure that I had room at the bottom of my card to do our sentiment. So, we do. Okay? And you know, I think this is like anything else. You can do a card the same way, and sometimes it just doesn't turn out the same way. I don't know. I think that's because I like to do things all having an original design. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And we're going to take some glue and just a little tiny amount. And we're going to put it on the fold over sides. So everywhere that our card folds over, that's where we're putting glue at. So how many of you, Cherie, I'm sure that you have used the, or made a curtain fold card, haven't you? Cherie's not confused. Oh, good. I haven't confused Cherie. My assistant she's confused, but she lives in a confusional state. Okay, so there is all of our little tack downs, okay, because the rest of this is going to get tacked down afterwards. So now I have a piece of that soft succulent satin ribbon, and I'm just going to attach it to the back of my curtain fold. And I guess I could put it at the very top so that it kind of looks like it's made to be that way. And I can bring my card down a little bit so there's not quite so much. Oh, you haven't? I thought you had, Cherie. It's, you know, it's not really that hard, and you all know me, where I get my ideas from. So I just take and make them my own way, like I did here. But I think the most important thing is making sure that you start with that 11.5 by 4 inch piece of paper and the scoring. Would love to see how to make the double one. The double what, Cherie? The double curtain fold? I'll have to look that one up. I think I seen a picture of that. I just haven't done anything with it. So we're going to put this one at the top of our paper so that I can bring it up a little bit so that there's not quite so much excess cardstock at the bottom of our card. So I'm just going to wrap my ribbon right around the top of that Designer Series paper, making sure that it doesn't show. And boy, is that sticky stuff sticky. Okay. This is one way you can conserve on your ribbon. Come on now, get there where I want you to. Do you all talk to your supplies like I do? I think I have to sometimes talk to them because they don't talk back, which is good. Okay, so the measurement for the paper, Terry, is 11.5 by 4 inches. And then you want to score it at 3 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, 9 inches, and 10 inches. Then you want to line it up on your trimmer, and it's set a 1 inch on the one side from your 3 inch. but that to me, it didn't seem like it was giving me a small enough piece. So I cut it down another little bit. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here to hold this ribbon in place until I get the card put down. No cussing here now, Cherie. We don't want none of that. We just have to talk nice to our supplies. You know how plants grow if you talk to them? You just have to say, come on now, tape runner, be nice to me and run the tape right. Cutting off the excess here. Alright. So, before I lay this on my piece of cardstock, make sure that it's on the right side because I've already got the inside done, I want to stamp and emboss my greeting for Merry Christmas. And, you know, we always use silver and gold and all that stuff. But you have, when you get some of the sets of 2 inches or 3 inches, the first... So what does the right side measure after the cut? After the cut, after you cut it, it's actually measuring at 3 7/8. So this end right here is measuring at 3 7/8. So I've only cut off 1/8 of an inch since it started out at 4 inches. For my left side. Then my right side ends up at 2 inches. If that makes sense. I may have to do just a video on that completely so that we can, and maybe then we'll make everybody can have their own supplies and be making it together on Facebook or YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to use bronze instead of the silver or the gold. Because I thought, you know, I have bronze and it comes with the silver and gold, or, yeah, because black, white, and clear come together, and so then it's silver, gold, and bronze. And I've never used the bronze, and I thought, well, I'm going to use the bronze on top of my crumb cake. So I'm using my embossing buddy. And remember, in the mini catalog, there is an embossing buddy tray set. So it has the embossing buddy, the tray, as well as a pair of tweezers and a paintbrush. So now I'm going to stamp my Merry Christmas down here in the very bottom on the right hand side. Cover up your Versamark. And then I don't have that new set that Stampin' Up! Has, primarily because I already have all of those tools, and I would rather spend money, and I already see that I've rocked my stamp with my Versamark, so that's going to cause me issues, of course, because I've got the inside done. Alright. Oh, I think I got it wiped off enough that it's not picking up the embossing stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to emboss this for us. I love to watch the embossing powder melt and go from a powdery substance to a nice glossy substance. Okay, done with that. Nope, just got powder on it. I gotta clean my stamp off though, because that Versamark is sticky. Alright, so the last thing that we're going to do is we are going to attach this to the front of our card. And our Merry Christmas shows up right there at the bottom. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to put some embellishments on this, and I forgot. So I will go dig those out of my... And I'm just laying down strips of my Stampin' Seal Plus. Make sure that it's even. That card base didn't seem to be even. Why is that not even? Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. All right. Come on now and be cooperating with me. Because you're just not wanting to, are you? Come on. I do make things work, even though they don't want to. I will make them work. Because I had, it's really funny. I can do these cards on my own, all alone, sitting in my room. They turn out perfect. Not a problem. Not a thing wrong with them. I go to get on camera, and oh my goodness, everything happens under the sun. All right. Then I'm just going to take some of the mini glue dots. It is, Cherie. It's amazing that when it melts. I just think that's awesome. And I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on the back of my bow because I want my bow to lay down flat. I don't really want it to be poppied up. I don't know if that's even a word, but maybe not in that sense. Okay, and because I glued this, you can see a little bit of that glue. I'm going to cover that up with my bow so that you can't really see that. And then I'll just kind of pull out my... And there's our card. Okay, so that is card number 1, our Christmas card, and it should not have taken me that long to make. Okay, because like I said, I put it together here at home all by myself very quickly. Alright, the next card that we are going to make is also kind of like a fun fold. And this is what's using that paper that is a hostess gift that you can get for $18. And as if, we don't all have enough paper, this is a really nice stack of paper. So again, I am using a 11 1/4 by 5 1/4 piece of paper, and that is the Designer Series paper. And this is the card we're making with this, and it's going to show off both sides of that Designer Series paper. So on one side you have this bold black Blackberry Bliss, and then you have the petal pink on this side. But then it's on a Blackberry Bliss card base, and it will fit into a regular envelope. So, our scoreboard again. And I'm not going to look at my markers. I'm just going to look at my sheet here. And I hope y'all can see what I'm doing. So the first score line is going to be at 1 3/4. And again, you want the paper that you want up. I don't think, maybe it doesn't make any difference on this one. I made this one a couple days ago and I don't remember. We're going to do it this way and I will make it work. So 1 3/4 and 3 inches. And then 7 3/4. So those are our 3 score lines that we have there. Okay, so this is going to be the back. This is going to be my front. So I'm going to fold it mountain. Then I'm going to fold the next one as the valley. And then I think I remember I did have issues with this folding, just getting it in my head straight sometimes. So this is going to go like this. 1, 2, 3. I skipped a, yeah, I didn't get one of my, that wasn't at 3. That looks like it might have been at 5. I wrote down my wrong one. It's a good thing I have more paper. It's supposed to be 1 3/4, 4 3/4. Alright, so that's 4 3/4. Let me grab another piece of paper, because I've already got it cut. Nope, not that one. So 11 1/4 by 5 1/4. Don't worry, that was just my scoreboard that fell off. Okay, so 11 1/4. So that's 11 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I do save all my little scraps so that I can do something with it. Alright, let's get that scoreboard back out here to see where I messed up. May have totally messed up because I may have been working on a totally different card to put the directions for scoring that card with this one. Alright, but I can make that one work. I will work on that and do something else with it. So, we do have, this one gets scored at, let's see, sometimes when you're making cards you just gotta, okay, 1 3/4. 1 3/4. See, I am not a perfect stamper by any means. 1 3/4, and then we do another one at 3 inches. No, not 3 inches. You have to measure from the beginning, silly. 4 3/4. My 6-inch ruler ain't gonna work, is it? So 1 3/4, 4 3/4, and 7 3/4. Now I should have my measurements the right way. Now, we're going to score it, or fold it that way, this way, and then this way. Oh, yes, I figured it out. Okay, but that's enough.
You're like a 1/4 of an inch off.
I know. We're going to make it work. We are going to make it work. I don't know why it's short, because I just measured it and cut it off. Maybe I should have just stayed in bed today. That was my thought. Alright. So, we're just going to make this work because it will still be fine. We are going to put this on a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and it's going to open up like this. So it's, the only difference is the card base, this part over here is smaller, and I don't have any clue why. Okay. I'm not even going to bother showing y'all this today because I'm sure I'd just mess it up. I used one of the scallop dies from the Color and Contour set, and this was too short to put where I wanted it, so I made it longer. And I think we've done this in a class before, where you cut it to a certain point and then line it up. Oh, what the heck. I'll try it, and if it doesn't work out, it's another failure for Sue. That's okay. So for this, I do need the die cut machine. Dorothy and I have decided that when I rearrange my room, which is going to be very soon, as soon as I have time, I am going to set up a designated area for my die cut machine, because this moving it every time I want to use it is getting to be really a hassle. Alright, so using a die and cutting part of it, or making it longer or shorter, because you can do either or. So for this one, I want to make it longer, so I'm going to stick my top plate in, and I'm going to stop about this much down from the bottom of it, because then I'm going to move the whole die down, and I can cut it to make it longer. Does that make sense to all of you? Okay. So if you have questions about that, let me know, and we can go over that again sometime. Just hold on to your top plate, because it goes flying sometimes. Ask me how I know. And I don't want it to go flying to hit Dorothy.
I appreciate the
Okay. Then once we have that portion cut, because it didn't cut all the way through, then we can move our die down, and it's going to line up, and you can kind of feel that it's going to go in those grooves, and you're going to lay it back down, and you're going to now do the same thing where it's not going to cut this portion, it's only going to cut the top portion. So here's where I stopped at. So I want to make sure that when I place my plate to cut it, it comes to right about there in that area. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut this through. And I've now just enlarged my rectangle die from this size, adding another, what, inch to it. So that's something to remember, and you can do that with your label dies. You know, anything that's just a shape, like it's got to be an oblong shape, of course. You can't increase a circle. If you figure out how to increase a circle, let me know, because I'm wanting to know that. Alright, so we done that. We got our paper cut and scored. Somewhat incorrectly, but anyway. For this one, we are going to use our stamp rest, and you know what? It's going to drive me crazy that that's not the right size. It's just going to drive me nuts. Well, it will. I can't handle when things are not the right way. And so we're just going to do this. I practiced stamping one of them flowers to see how it looked. We're going to incorporate that into our card. Yay! I can't handle that it's not the right size, ladies. I just can't. So we're going to use another piece of paper. But since this is off, I don't want to cut it the same size. So that was at 11 1/4.
Why don't you measure this one? Because that's the one you want.
Yes, it is. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to measure this, and it's 11 3/4. Wow, that makes a difference. Half an inch. Okay, so 11 3/4. Right, but since I'm going to incorporate this, we're going to do it this way. 11 3/4. I really do think I put the wrong direction measurements with the wrong card. That must be for another card I was working on. Alright, trimmer's put away. Yes, and you can use your trimmer to do your score lines on. I just find that sometimes I have more control using my scoreboard. My assistant says obviously not. Wasn't the scoreboard that messed up the score lines, it was the trimmer. Okay, and so because I want to incorporate this, I know that I want it to be, well, first of all, it has to be cut down now, doesn't it, ladies? Because, oh my gosh, my mind must be on dinner because I haven't eaten anything today. Let's see, what are we having for dinner tonight? I don't know. I tell you what, some days, I just don't know about myself. So this does need to get cut down to 5 1/4 because we want it to fit on a 5 1/2 by 4. 5 1/2, that's right. So I want this at 5 1/4. And again, I don't want to cut my flower off because I will use that in our card. Okay. And I did. I was making like 3 or 4 cards at one time, working on them yesterday. Was it yesterday, Tuesday, Monday? I don't know. All right.
It was yesterday because you were in the groove.
Yes, it was yesterday. I was in the groove. So, yes, I was dancing around. So what did I say? 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Where's my big ruler at? 1 3/4. 4 3/4. 7 3/4. Yes, this one's going to work out perfectly now. Probably a good thing I couldn't get myself streamed on YouTube. Why on earth would I want to be? I just knocked the rod in my stand. There we go. Am I better?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Now we're going to fold our score lines back and forth. Oh, so much better. And look, that little flower is just kind of hanging out there. Kind of cute, huh? Alright. Because this is what the inside of the card looks like. So now I'm going to use my Stamparatus. And we are... Well, my assistant, she's got something planned, but it's a secret. She never tells me what's planned for dinner. I have to play this guessing game with her.
I know, I figure it's on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah, it's on a need-to-know basis.
You're not cooking it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not cooking it, so it doesn't matter, she says. It just seems like it's... Alright, so I'm going to line up my card inside because I don't want it to show, so I don't want it to come way over here. I want it to keep it in that little area there. Make sure that that's, nope, that is not going to work, is it? So I have to reposition my stamp. And I liked it that Blackberry Bliss is dark enough on this petal pink that I didn't have to put another piece of white paper in there on this side. I'm only putting it on this side so that you can have a place to write your note. So picked up my stamp, got it anchored. We're going to use Blackberry Bliss. My chamois box. Yes, Cherie, it is from the Color and Contour stamp set. I just didn't use the inside part. What's not straight, Pat? Yeah, this card is not straight in my camera. You gotta tell me what's not straight before I start stamping. Because that looks straight to me. Well, my camera's not showing it necessarily straight because my camera's not straight. And I didn't do my original card with the Stamparatus, so those words may be just a little bit off. Okay, this one did have a nice good coverage where my original one, some of the ink didn't get on the stamp, so that's why I chose to use the Stamparatus. Alright, the other thing that we're going to do is we are going to take that flower, that open flower, and just kind of decorate this one inside piece of the card. Piece of scratch paper here, because I want that top one to kind of be going off and not a full flower. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's do, okay, we are done with our stamps and ink. Put that all away. This is going to get laid down on our, see, now this one is too big. I'll tell you, Susie's math is not very good today. This card is at 4 inches. So this needs to be at 3 inches. No, I want 3 inches off of there. 3 3/4. I want 1/4 inch off. Like a 1/2 inch. Can you tell that Susie Q is flustered today? Because I can't get my head around these cards. Alright, but we're making it work. So, get my silicone mat here. I guess my mind is all on what I've got to get done now between now and November. Because a shoebox swap is kind of like making card kits. And you have all the stuff that you need and you put it in a box and everybody passes it around and they make your card and then you make their card. Okay. Then we're going to take our, I did take that same die and I used it on the Blackberry Bliss and we are going to just stick it halfway so that it matches the second step of this card. So we're gonna, I kind of counted over, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scallops. And that's where we're going to place our adhesive at. I'm going to lay it here to make sure that if I do have extra adhesive, it doesn't rolled off the bottom, so I need to put those back inside. I think I need both, Terry. I haven't had Dr. Poole, I have not had an appointment with him for 5 or 4 weeks, or at least, no, it's longer than that. About 6 weeks. I'm really kind of hoping that maybe this weekend it's nice enough that I can swim one last time before we put it away for the year. Alright. So here is my flower. So I did the color and contour flowers. Actually, yeah, color and contour flowers. And I just did it in the Blackberry Bliss on petal pink paper, and then die cut it. And so here we're going to use our mini dimensionals. Whoops. Get the right end. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool. One thing I cannot live without in my room. You can use your bigger ones too. I just happened to grab these because we're going to cut off a little tiny narrow spot to put on the leaf as well as the stem here. Okay. So I just take a little bit of my excess, cut it down narrowly. I'm going to stick it down here on our stem, making sure that it doesn't show. Trim off that excess. Oops, need to trim off a little bit more. And I'm going to put that excess then over here on our leaf so that it's there. And I'm going to cut off another big chunk to put in the center. And maybe a little tiny chunk. So do you all use all your dimensionals, even your little bits that have around the edges? Don't want to waste those, because those are just like the dimensionals. They just, you get, guess with my scoring tool I can't pick up the sticky paper, can I? I'm just flipping everything around. I need a vacation, don't you think, ladies? I could go with sitting on the beach. Maybe I could start a GoFundMe page. Send me to the beach. What do you think? They make GoFundMe pages for everything else, right? Alright, so I'm laying that down there on the diagonal side, and boy, am I glad that I decided to make my bow ahead of time, because I know the way things are going right now, this bow would not have worked. So I used some of the little white, yes, seam binding ribbon, okay, because it's really narrow, And I'm going to use a Stickum dot or a glue dot. I'd rather call them snot dots, but that might not be very nice on camera. I know, but I do like to call them snot dots. I think they just sound better than glue dots. Just roll that up kind of and put that on the back. Stick it to my fingers. That little tag along there. And then I'm going to put my bow right there. And to finish this off, to give it some glitz, we're going to do our Winkostella. And I want it to open like this. Why is it not? Whoever wins these cards this week, you get my originals, because those are perfect. And I will send these to people that know I am not perfect. Okay, so I put a little sparkle on there, just like that. So that is our card number 2. Okay, what is my time? Oh my goodness, I am already late, and I have one more card to make, ladies. My assistant is laughing at me. I don't know what she's getting all choked up about. It's not her that's having all these difficulties. It's me. If y'all need to go, I truly understand. Y'all can come back and watch the replay. I truly do understand. This is our card number 3. It's another fun fold card. But I love these colors, and these papers are from that same pack that is in the catalog.
Design a Daydream.
Design a Daydream. And then I'm also using the adhesive back sequins and gems that's in the annual catalog, I believe. Okay, so I'm starting with a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock. I am going to use my trimmer, and hopefully it's going to cooperate with me. And I am going to make a tick mark. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to make a tick mark at 1/2 inch from the score line. So 1/2 inch is where I'm going to make, not a cut line, move my cutting blade. I did that the other day twice. So here is my 1/2 inch tick mark. And then from the bottom, I am going to make a tick mark at 1 3/4. So I'm going to turn it around and make a tick mark at 1 3/4. Right here. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to score from the top tick mark to the side tick mark. Not cut. Ask me how I know. I did it like 3 times the other day. Make sure that you can see those tick marks in your line. Okay, so that now is going to be folded over and make a triangle. Okay, on our piece of Designer Series paper, this measures at 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to take this, and on your Stampin' Piercing mat, if you lay your paper there and center it out, you can see your tick marks. And I'm going to take my ruler And from my top tick mark to my side tick mark, and I'm just going to run my stylus over that paper. That's going to kind of give me a line to fold back. Okay, because I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold over my corner. So now it's folded my Designer Series paper and my cardstock. We're going to remove our tick marks so that they don't show. Okay. We're going to bring our trimmer back in. You could measure all this, but as you can tell, my problems with measuring today, I'm glad I didn't. Alright, so now I know I can see on this back side, I can see it better than I can on the striped side. And I am going to put in where those, we're just going to make a pencil tick mark here so that I can see it a little bit better. You can't see it, but I can see it a little bit better. See it really better if I have my glasses on. Alright, so we're going to take and cut this triangle off. So make sure that it's in the center of your cutting and slice it down. So now that leaves you with two pieces. This piece and this piece. Okay, and I got a secret for you. If you've ever had your trimmer, if it's sharp or even maybe if it's getting a little dull, if you take and lay that paper flat, you can take and work out that lumpy part where sometimes you can feel that it's been pushed down into the groove. And I know that you notice, I know you notice this too. Sometimes when you're cutting your DSP paper, it kind of shreds a little bit. And I just kind of take my scissors and cut it off. So now we have this piece that's going to go on the front of our card just like this. And you're going to leave a little bit of your border. Then you're going to fold over this side, and this piece is then going to fit on. Yep, for some reason it's not fitting. We're going to cut it down a little bit because it needs to be cut down. Cutting it down 1/4 of an inch. And maybe I cut it down 1/4 of the inch. I think I did. I think I cut it down 1/4 of an inch when I made the original one. And now you've got a border on it. So let's go ahead and get those laid down. Get this card done. Y'all are busy. You can't just sit and watch me all afternoon. What fun is that? Unless you're actually stamping along with me. That would be fun. We did that last Monday night. I'm going to work up another Magic Monday Mystery Night, but I think I'm going to do it a little bit different. I think it was kind of confusing for everybody to be online at one time, so I think I might just do it like through YouTube, but everybody gets to stamp and craft together. We just can't all see each other, but we can chat. Okay, well, I was just told that it was half the fun, but I just want to make sure that everybody's comfortable on Zoom. And if you're not and you want to learn how to do Zoom, because it is fun, I would be more than happy to give you a lesson on Zoom. Okay, so now we've got our paper down, and I am going to, you could leave this up if you wanted to. I don't like flappy cards. I like things to be nice and tied down. Alright, I have a piece of petal pink that measures 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go on the inside of our card. I have a piece of basic white that measures 3 3/4 by 5. That's going to be our inside where we're going to stamp our greeting. Out of the layering circle dies, I cut a scallop circle and then a white circle, and then I use the garden leaves embossing plate, and I embossed this so that it gave it some texture. So the first thing that we are going to do is find our stamps. There's our happy birthday. Here is this, and we are using Blackberry Bliss again because there's Blackberry Bliss in this paper. And I'm going to put the "It's your time to be remembered, to feel appreciated, and to know you're celebrated." That is going to go on the outside of our card. But I got excess ink on it, so I'm wiping that off. And we will restamp it and not smush it, but kiss it, tap it, kiss it. Well, believe me, Shireen, the first 2 times that I tried this card, I did not get it right either. It was, my corner was not even. And it was like, I'm doing exactly like they said, but it did not get even. So I practiced and finally got it. Okay, so that is our outside sentiment. Now, we're going to stamp our inside sentiment, but here again, we don't want it to show, so we're going to lay our circle down here and kind of eyeball where we need to make sure that our happy birthday gets. So it's going to get put over here towards the left-hand side. Right about there. Looks good to me. That does not look good because I smushed it, and for some reason my Blackberry Bliss, I've had it for years. I've never re-inked it, but it is still such a juicy stamp.
Sure.
So I have to really tap lightly on it. Okay, so I said we're going to stamp right about there, and I'm going to stand up and do this so that I know I get it straight. Voila, that's good. That turned out perfect. Yay, at least one card's not giving me a heartache. Oh no, you know what I did, ladies? My ink pad is out of the cover. No, I got it. Whew. I didn't want to have to mess with a Blackberry Bliss ink pad and get it all over the place. Let's go ahead and attach our happy birthday greeting. For some reason, I do not have my... See, I pick up my scraps of paper and then I don't have what I need. Because I am putting a piece of the Designer Series paper down at the bottom on the inside. We don't want no inside naked card. No. Okay, so I'm laying that down and I'm putting it right to the edges. And I'm just going to take and snip off. That's got glue on it, so we're not using my good scissors. Snip off that excess. Now that can get laid down on the inside of our card. did. I was on such a roll yesterday morning. I had cards getting made, and then I spent 2 hours on the phone with a company that didn't speak English. Talk about one way of getting out of the mood. That's it. So if ever you want to lose your mojo, just call somebody and ask them a question, especially when they don't speak English. Finally got to speak to a representative that did speak English, and she was very nice. She was able to answer my question in no time. Alright, so here is this. And you could pop this up if you wanted to, but I'm really kind of being choosy on which cards I pop up and which cards I can send flat depending on how much weight they are because of the postage price. So this card is just glued flat simply because it's already got several layers of paper. So again, I'm going to make little tick marks. I'm going to fold this over. Let's see, I want to do it this way. And I want to make a little mark where I can't go past with my adhesive. There we go. So my adhesive has to stay over here on this side. Otherwise it's going to glue your whole card down. And then I'm going to take and open this up. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. Yes, I did. I did. Alright, skip that one. We're going to take that adhesive off. It was too good to be true, wasn't it, ladies? I thought I was going to get one card done without any mistakes. Nope. How far over is that coming? See how far over I messed it up. Oh, not too bad. I can get that. Taken off of there. So this, what I did was I did it the opposite direction. I should have done it. But I can get that. Since I dabbed it off of there, I can get it off. Okay. Open your card up so that you don't get it stuck to your inside. I'm really glad I did that. Okay. And I will take my Stickum eraser and get all that stickum off of there so it doesn't stick. Okay? But I can do that later. I'm going to stick a piece of paper towel in there so it doesn't stick to our card. Here they are. These gems are really, really pretty. I just love the way they coordinated with this paper. So you have some that are like oblong, and then you have sequins. And I love these blue sequins. Not blue, they're green. And what I did then was I just put 3 of these sequins up here in the corner. Like so. And I just thought that added something to that card. So that is card number 3. After all these issues and problems today, let me get this stuff cleaned off my desk so that I can get the cards laid out here. Okay. I got glue on my table. Man, I was very, very messy today. Straps that I can use for something else. So, card number 3. Card number 2. And card number 1. So tell me which one you guys like best. Tell me if you like fun folds. Just talk to me. Hit the like button. Go out and look at my blog tomorrow, and you'll have the measurements and the supplies that I used. If I do, I will probably get it. I don't know. This was such a bad one. I don't know if I want the whole world to be able to see it on YouTube. But heck, what's the matter? I'm not perfect, and I know that there's other demonstrators that are not either. So they all have the time to edit their videos. I do not. I'm lucky to keep up on it. Yes, Cherie, I love fun folds too. That's one of my problems, is I enjoy them too much. So, all right, ladies, I will see you next week on Thursday for another 3 on Thursday. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe because it's the holiday weekend, okay? Don't get into too much trouble, ladies. Bye.